Hey guys, welcome to You the Boss podcast, episode 61. Today we're going to be talking about basically how to do the work when no one's clapping and you're not even sure that it's working. You're doing everything right. You're showing up, you're being consistent. If you're on social media, you're constantly posting, and still it feels like nothing's changing. No one's clapping. At first, it felt like maybe everyone saw what you were doing and they were like, oh, this is so great. I'm so happy for you. And now the applause has stopped. There's no proof that it's working. It's quiet, it's silent. I'm here to let you know that it doesn't mean you're failing. It means that you're in the part that no one talks about. This is the brutal phase. This is no one sees the behind the scenes. No one's photographing. No one's taking video. No one's giving you the tissue box when you're crying, when you're overwhelmed, when you're trying to figure this out, whether it's a career, whether it's you're new in business, maybe it's both. This is the messy part. This is the brutal part. This is the longest and quietest part of growth. I would say I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I'm going to congratulate you instead. We live in a culture that is so obsessed with outcomes, obsessed with, oh my gosh, look at what they accomplished, whether it's a weight loss thing, whether it's a fit thing. Maybe you lost a ton of weight, but now you're stronger. Whether you've been in business for a while, but now you announce that you made $1 million in the last year or two in business. Everyone's always so obsessed with the outcome. It's always, what did you do to get there? Like, I want that. That's what I want. And it's never, what was the process like? And the reality is that the lack of recognition is what triggers that self-doubt. It triggers that inner critic. It triggers the imposter syndrome. It triggers you waking up in the middle of the night saying, I have this idea. I can't shut my mind off. It's what triggers that. It is that lack of recognition. Maybe you've been in business for a while and it was so loud and now you're like, oh my gosh, I lost touch with reality. I don't know what to do. I feel like I need to pivot in my business. I feel like I need to do all these other things. And it feels like a failure because that dopamine that you were receiving from when you got started or when you got a certain level of success, that's missing. That dopamine is missing. Everyone celebrates the before and after, like I said, but no one talks about the during. So that's why I want to congratulate you, because you're right now in the during. You're not in the before and you're not quite yet in the after per se, but you're in the during. You're in the middle. You're where it's messy. You're where it's gritty. You're where it's so brutal. And you can even feel a sense of grief right now. Maybe you're not quite sure why you're feeling this loneliness, not so much because you're alone, but a loneliness of you're letting go of different things. You've set yourself up with maybe some new habits and maybe you kind of miss your old habits. Maybe there's people that were so familiar to you in a previous time and now those people aren't familiar to you. Maybe you were aligned with a different role in your life that you're no longer aligned with. And it's okay to be in this emotional truth, to be in this reality that you're grieving your old life. You're grieving your before. That's okay. It's okay to acknowledge that no one's clapping because they don't see what you're shedding. I'm going to say that again to you because you deserve to hear it again. No one is clapping for you because they don't see what you're shedding, but you do. You see what you're shedding. You're not just building something now. You're rebuilding. You're rebuilding, and you're not only rebuilding, you're rebuilding while grieving. I know that consistently grieving can be aligned with when someone has passed, but grieving comes in so many different waves and so many different things. And this is a time where it just feels so strange to you. You're grieving, you're aligning yourself, you're waking up as someone different. And because no one else is clapping for you, you feel this energy of like, I'm not doing the right thing. Maybe I shouldn't be here anymore. And you almost misread the signs that you're doing the right thing, and you read them as, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe I should just take a step back. Maybe I should go back to what I'm familiar with. So today, I want to provide you with a couple of steps. I always give you guys some steps. I give you guys usually a book or two, maybe even a podcast suggestion, though I'm always going to suggest my podcast first. I want to give you guys a couple of tools that are going to help you understand what to do when the progress feels invisible, when it feels like you're doing all this work and you almost have nothing to show for it. Number one, I want you to track your internal wins. And out the gate, this isn't part of the list that I'm going to be giving you, but I want you to learn to shut things off, both physically and metaphorically. Shut things off. Shut the outside world off. I say that to you because you may already be thinking, I gotta track something else. Yes, actually, this is personal. You should be tracking your internal wins. You should be tracking your mood shifts, both the happy and the sad. You should be tracking your emotional reactions. Maybe you reacted differently in a good way to something that you wouldn't have before. Maybe instead of seeing something that felt like a failure, maybe you saw it as an opportunity, and that's a change for you. Track that. Track the day that you set better boundaries in your business, in your job, where you told your boss, you know what, I'm not reachable after 5 o'clock, and that's new to you. I want you to track that. The reason I want you to track that is because you want a basis of being able to look at, okay, maybe I'm not where I want to be just yet, but look at the different things that I've accomplished right now. Which leads me into journal the boring. Number 2, create a proof of effort list. I'm here to tell you, I know that I've mentioned it a few times here on this podcast, but as a new parent, that has been like one of the many things that has like saved me or given me a grounding perspective. Because sometimes I'll get to like Friday or Saturday and I'm like, what did I do this week? And some of those things are mundane. I'm here to be honest with you. I'm in it. I'm in the thick of it. Some of those things are mundane. Some of them are like, I did a lot of X amount of laundry. I did X amount of grocery shopping. I did this to this decorating in this part of my room, or I set this up. I set up this thing for my podcast or this thing for photography. And like, though when you're in the heat of it, you're probably like, oh, well, I'm supposed to be doing those things. Like, duh, this is part of life, or etc. But when you look back at this proof of effort list at the end of the week, you're like, oh, wow, I did a lot this week. You know what? I did XYZ. And I've been personally doing this daily now. Whenever I go to lay down for the day, I'm like, what did I do today? I literally start to list, I did this, I did that. And typically that list is anywhere between 8 to 11 things long every single day. And it makes you feel good because it adds up. It also lets you see where you've moved the dial from, let's say, Monday to Tuesday or Tuesday to Friday. Number 3, anchor to your purpose, not praise. What are you doing this for in the first place? Are you doing this to leave a legacy for your children? Are you doing this to provide a better life for your children or your future children or your future self? Stop aligning yourself to external praise. As human beings, yes, it is normal to want praise, to want recognition, to want acceptance from others. I'm not talking about those basic needs. I'm talking about the rooted purpose of everything that you do. Stop looking for the praise, because it's not going to come in the invisible work. Congratulations, boss. You're leveling up. Number 4, adjust but don't abandon. This one's a little bit, I'm going to give it to you straight, is a little like, I'm not going to say controversial. I'm going to just say kind of unnatural for the social media world that we live right now, where it feels like if you're in the media realm, whether that's photography or podcasting or coaching, or you're in a restaurant business or you're in a career. And right now it feels like everyone is trying to be social media platform famous. And there's trends and there's reels that get consistently made. And it's easy to jump from trend to trend to trend. So I'm here to present a challenge to you and say, adjust but don't abandon. When you're aligned with your purpose, you're not going to quickly jump from one thing to the next. You're just going to continuously evolve and tweak. Don't confuse having to tweak something from what you originally thought it was. Don't confuse it for quitting or failing. Rather, look at it from the perspective of you put the ingredients to a cake together. You knew you needed flour, you knew you needed eggs, you knew you needed X amount of things. I'm not a professional baker, so I can't tell you all the ingredients. But just because you needed to tweak how much flour or how much vanilla you put in the recipe, don't abandon making the cake. Recognize that this is part of the invisible progress. Number 5, have a witness. Have someone who is a witness to your change. Keep the journey human. And I know that it has, again, become popular to post your wins on social media or maybe even vlog it and share it with, strangers. But I want to encourage you to connect with a person, whether that's your best friend or your sister or just someone that you met at a networking event that you now share a co-working virtual space with. I want you to have a person that's a witness. And the reason that that's important is because they get it. They're the one person who get to watch the journey. And you also, when you have this right person, they're going to remind you sporadically. They're going to say, yeah, but remember when you were doing this? This is so great to see. It's so important to have this person as a witness because it serves as a witness for you, for your journey. Sometimes you're not going to remember everything that you've been dealing with, everything that you've been encouraged to try to remember. But this person is going to get it. They're going to be your human witness. I have said this several times on this podcast. I've said progress over perfection, progress over perfection. I've even made an episode about this. If you haven't already listened to it, go back a couple of weeks. You will definitely hear the things that I said on that episode. But it's also important to note that progress without applause is still progress. When you lose weight, it's still loud if your clothes if they don't fit you. If somebody else doesn't notice, so what? Your clothes notice. You notice. It's quiet when you're in this phase. It's sacred for it to be quiet. Character is built in this phase. When you're becoming a master at something, you're not in the spotlight. You're just suddenly in the spotlight when you are a master. So remember that. If this is where you currently are, keep going. Not because someone's watching, but because you know, because you're watching. You want to be able to look back and realize that this is the most important part of the journey. This is the part that's teaching you the most. I want to recommend a book, as always, The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins. This book is about pushing through hesitation, self-doubt, inaction, especially when no one's cheering for you. Mel Robbins is so good at giving you tangible, like a tool, getting you out of your head, getting you into motion, which helps with the work of I'm doing this without applause, not because of it. If you're stuck in your head, this book is going to help you. It's going to help you get out of that spiral, and it's going to get you moving again. She doesn't sugarcoat things, so I definitely recommend this book. I will be putting it in the show notes. If you enjoyed this episode, send it to someone you think could benefit from it. If it was sent to you, thank that person because they thought highly of you to send you this episode. I invite you to share this episode with someone if it was shared with you. And I also invite you to leave a review on this podcast wherever you listen to. Thank you for listening. Come back again next week for another episode of You the Boss podcast.